Hello and welcome to my collection showcase of the Mechanicum Knight Moirax. So this is all of the Moiraxes that I own. I did think about doing a review of like one of them or a few of them, but I found out I did that last year, and then I must have made another video showcasing all of my armigers, including the Moiraxes, which I will still do later in the month. But for now, I wanted to just review the Moiraxes with the new rules from Horus Heresy game. I did think about having all of the Mechanicum Knights here in the shot, but I haven't quite finished the Asterius to the point that I am ready to showcase that or even review it. I might be doing that during the week, in which case it'll get its own review video. I know that's a long time coming. Apparently I picked it up over 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago in 2021 in June. It was £347 back then. They are now 400. But anyway, this video isn't about the Asterius, it's about the Mechanicum Knight Moirax. You can pick up one of these Moiraxes with a set weapon. So the set weapon being either a Volkite Viewer Guile, I can't say those weapon names, Volkite View Glare, and a Siege Claw for £45. You can pick up the ones with the dual lightning locks for £45 as well. I think before the View Glare one with the Siege Claw was £5 cheaper, I think. So it made sense to buy that one and then to buy two of the separate weapons if you wanted to kit it out. So that means right here in front of you, there is at least £225 worth of knights. Then when you factor in the weapons, that's an extra £50. So right here there's about £280 worth of Moirax knights just in those 5 models. I would like to pick up another one, but unfortunately the one that I would also like to get is another Moirax with the conversion beamers, which of course would then cost me £72 just for one Moirax Knight. That's pushing on the boundary of a full-size Questoris Knight. So these things can be quite expensive. I hope Games Workshop will make these in plastic. I mean, most of the miniature is in plastic. We'll have a look at these individually and things, and I will review their weapons and their points, which is a step up from the review videos I did last year. But in terms of which is plastic and which is resin, you've got your typical armiger Knight plastic legs and body, but the resin parts include the thigh armor plates, the shin armor plates, the weapons themselves, which you can get separately at £16.50. It's a bit of a chunk of money. Carapace, the heads, I think each knight comes with 2 different heads, either this knightly type head, which I've gone for the ones with the close combat, and then I've gone for these kind of skull Mechanicum type heads for the ranged versions. You also get a different like resin power plant, different exhausts. Yeah, there's a few differences. I mean, if I just bring down a normal armiger right here to give you a comparison, of course, if you look at the armor plates there, I would actually say that I prefer these bricked shin armor plates or foot armor plates to these Mechanicum ones. These cover more of the piston and the legs, a bit more protection, but I prefer the look of the OG armiger ones. Another thing that's really interesting is instead of this top mounted weapon, which quite a few of the other Mechanicum Knights employ as like a point defense, these Moiraxes don't. Instead they have this kind of shield, iron shield type thing on the top. We'll have a look at the rules in a moment to see if that means anything, but the OG armigers, pack a melter gun or a stubber, or something like that. Would have been nice to see, like a Havoc launcher or some missiles. I'm not sure why a lot of these knights don't have missile launchers on the top, like a few of the Questoris knights do for anti-air purposes. But as you can see, it uses a lot of the existing miniature, but it's a really nice kit. Yes, it's £45, but it's CAD designed. The instructions are fantastic. I've really enjoyed building all of these Moiraxes from what I can remember, a year, 2 years ago. Fantastic little kits. But yeah, these are the 5. I'll just do some size comparisons before I go through some rules of the weapon options that are there. As I say, I would like to get a 6th one, even though it looks cool with 5 of them like that. A 6th one means that I could have them in pairs, so I could run the ranged one and a close combat one together. I could run 2 lightning lock ones together, 2 close combats, and 2 conversion beamer ones, and that's the plan. The plan's always been to have 6. So perhaps I'll pick up a 6th one at some point, but as I say, £70 odd is a bit of a chunk to put down. When I recently picked up a Cerastus Knight for about £80 or so. So size comparisons wise, I'll just compare it to a Megaera right at the back. You can see all these Moiraxes are, probably higher than half the height, but not quite 2/3 of the height of one of the Questoris Knights. I always imagine like big packs of these, like in 3s. Again, another reason to pick up a 6th one, to have 2 packs of 3 of the specific Moiraxes, just darting about the other, larger Questoris Knights. And even a Cerastus Knight. I've got the 0 to 1, I guess, a Trapos right there. And these things are, you can fit 2 and a little bit of these height-wise to a Trapos. Definitely, I like all the aesthetics that they share. Everything from the layered carapace plates to the curved bricked design of the shoulder pauldrons, and even the weapons share a lot of aesthetics. The claw, for instance, definitely a homage to the Megaera there, and the lightning weapons. Works very well. Then if we just compare the Asterius, the Big Daddy himself, the biggest knight for Mechanicum. I wonder if they have any bigger war machines than this, other than like the Titans and things. I think this is the biggest thing you can get until we get to a Titan stage. That just goes to show you, I mean, it's going to be a similar height to the Atrapos, so you can probably get 2 and maybe a half of one of these if it was standing upright. That's where they measure up next to that. And I think it's a great ratio, for me to have, eventually to have, 6 Moiraxes, 2 Questoris, 1 Atrapos, because you can only have 1, and 1 Asterius. I think it would look a bit odd having 2 Asteriuses, and odd to say it as well. The fact, because another factor in all of this is I do have 2 Porphyrians. So I think 2 Porphyrians and 1 Asterius is another good ratio. So in terms of the current loadout for weaponry, I'll just go through some of the rules for these Moiraxes. Again, as I say, bit of an odd review. I'm kind of reviewing them, but also wanted to give you some size comparisons with the other Mechanicum Knights that I've reviewed this week. There will be a full video where I'll go through all of the Mechanicum Knights, and you'll have that in one video, and you'll have that in one video as well. But in terms of these Knight Moiraxes, you'll find them in the kind of Mechanicum army list section of the book. You won't find them in the kind of Knight section of the book. For Mechanicum, they are classed as heavy support, and they will cost you 200 points for 1. You can have, the Talon may include up to 3 additional Knight Moiraxes, 200 points per model, so you're not saving any points by having 4 in a Talon, but of course it means that you can have 4 in one Talon, which is quite good. So me having 5 means I could have 1 Talon of 4 and 1 of 1. You know, having 6 means I could have 2 Talons of 3, which again is quite nice, or even 3 Talons of 2. The stat line reads a movement of 8 inches, weapon skill and ballistic skill both 4, strength is 7, toughness is 7, 6 wounds, initiative 4, which is a bit unheard of for Mechanicum units, 3 attacks, leadership 8, and a save of 3+. How does that compare to a normal armiger? Well, funnily enough, they actually have a better leadership. Their leadership is 8 instead of a 7, but everything else remains the same. They have a siege claw with inbuilt Irad cleanser. That's the same Irad cleanser that you're getting on the bigger Styrics and Magira knights on their siege claws. You get a Volkite view glare, ionic deflector, a rad furnace. Special rules, they have fleet in 2, Grusso protocol, Moirax talon, move through cover, and night vision. You may exchange any Knight Moirax may exchange its Volkite View Glare and or its Siege Claw with an inbuilt Irad Cleanser for any of the following weapons. A Siege Claw with inbuilt Irad Cleanser for free, Volkite View Glare for free, Lightning Lock for 5 points, Conversion Beam Cannon for 10 points each, and a Graviton Pulsar for 10 points. So I'll just go through some of their weapons then. The standard weapon, the standard melee weapon, the Siege Claw, works similarly to the big Styrics and Magira Siege Claw in that it's a strength ×2, so instead of 16 it'll be 14, which is pretty decent. AP 2, it's a melee weapon, Brutal 2, Sunder and Wrecker. The Volkite weapon, that is the base war gear, the Volkite View Glare it's called, that is a 30-inch range, strength 6, AP 4, heavy 5, deflag rate. So yeah, it loses out on the range, you know, not the best range there, but it is still strength 6 and heavy 5. You know, if you're using the ones with the Volkite, you're best off going up against, you know, squishier targets. If you upgrade it and you exchange that Volkite like I have on the one to the left of middle, that is a Graviton Pulsar, and if you equip it with one of those, then all of a sudden you lose more range, so you get 24-inch, AP 4, heavy 2, blast 3-inch, concussive 1, Graviton Pulse, and haywire. So you're then getting 2 shots and a nice 3-inch blast marker, but you're reducing the range again. And this is why for those two I've equipped close combat weapons, the Siege Claws, because I know that they're going to have to get in closer than normal, and they don't move that fast, only 8 inches, to be able to be effective with those ranged weapons. The Irad Cleanser, you know, just works as the one. The Irad Cleanser works the same as the Irad Cleanser on the Styrics and Magira, of course. It's a template weapon, so it's a flamer, it's a strength 2, AP 5, assault 1, fleshbane, and radphage. So already you can see that they share similar weapons. You know, the Siege Claw with the inbuilt Rad Cleanser works just like it does with the bigger Questoris Knights. The other two weapons, the Lightning Lock and Conversion Beam Cannon, very nice. Let's talk about the Lightning first of all. I mentioned in depth the Lightning Cannon that's on the Magira. This Lightning Lock, it's the same range at 36 inches, strength is 7, AP 3, heavy 1, blast 3 inches, rending 4+, shred, exoshock 4+. So the only thing it's worse than the Magira is the size of that blast marker. It's only getting a 3-inch rather than a 5-inch. But you know what? I would rather have 2 3-inch blast markers than 1 5-inch. Yes, 5-inch is good because it can delete big blobs, but 3 inches, you know, you can strategically place 2 3-inch blast markers and potentially get more coverage. So hence why there are 2 with lightning locks. I wouldn't get any more though than the 2. The Conversion Beam Cannon though, fantastic. It's not a conversion beamer, which is slightly worse. This thing works very similar to the heavy conversion beam cannon that the Knight Asterius has. And again, this is another reason why I'd want two. It's a beam weapon, so it means, you know, the further you are away from a target, the more damage it's going to inflict. So if you start off at up to 18 inches, you get a strength 7, AP nothing, heavy 1, blast 3 inches, blind. Okay, not going to do much damage at all. You need to be further than 18 inches minimum. Between 18 inches and 42 inches, you got strength 9, AP 4, heavy 1, blast 3, blind. Again, strength 9 is nice, but it's not, you know, where we need to aim for. Between 42 inches and 72 inches, so you've got a nice 30-inch, the largest range, coincidentally, of any of the three ranges, a 30-inch buffer there, between 42 and 72, of a strength 12, AP 1, heavy 1, blast 3 inches, blind. So that's where you need to be firing these. You know, you need to be 50, 60 inches away from Lascannon Devastators and be firing both of those 3-inch blast markers that will just wipe out heavy weapon squads, Terminators, tanks are going to be affected. You know, the strength 12 is going to be fantastic against them at such a long range. Definitely play to your strengths with these ones. I don't think the Siege Claw is an incredible thing. It's good that you're getting the initiative 4, but you're only really getting 3 attacks. With these lightning locks and beam cannons, you're pumping out 3-inch blast markers, which is arguably more effective than, one, trying to close the distance, so you become more vulnerable to ranged weaponry, and 2, just your damage output is going to be much higher, and you're going to be safer, you know, safer distance while firing that. At a nice ballistic skill 4 as well, might I add. So what is your best loadout for your Moiraxes? I'd be interested to know. I will be picking up another conversion beam Moirax at some point. I really like these. I think Forge World did a great job at improving, in a way, the typical Armiger kit. I wish they could have done something like that for the Castellan Knights, you know, the really big, you know, the biggest sort of Castellan frame Knights, and a few of the other plastic Horus Heresy kits as well. But what do you guys think of the Moiraxes? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.